Yeah, man. What's up, y'all? Y'all already know who it is. Target individual, CJBK. So I decided to spend the night at mom's house today. And I mean, of course, I can't come here and just like be turning off all our electricity. I can try to explain it to her as best as I can, about EMF radiation, but she at the end of the day, she's God willing. So she's like, look, if they gonna do what they gonna do, they gonna do what they gonna do. I ain't worried about them. That's my mother right there. She's like, I ain't even stubborn about them. They've been trying to get at me for over 20 something years. She's like, I ain't worried about them. They gonna do what they gonna do. They gonna do what they gonna do. I put my faith in God. Yeah, I'm like, I hear you, ma. I hear you. So right now I am lit up in my old bedroom. Like it's like walking in. It's like, first of all, walking into the apartment is like walking into a microwave, and then like walking into my bedroom, because remember they hit you from different angles, whether it's from the side, the top, or the bottom. Especially if you live in an apartment building, they hit you from all different sides. So knowing in my apartment, back uptown, they hit me from the top, probably hit me from across the street, but it's not as bad in my apartment because I learned to go to the circuit breaker and turn off the electricity in different rooms and stuff. Like I've figured out that I can actually sleep a little bit better in my bedroom since I turned off all the electricity in there. And then, but then over here, the circuitry isn't like it's not organized as well as at my place, because this is a much older building, so even if I turning off some of the circuits here would be like turning off circuitries for like the whole apartment, and she's up, so she's doing what she's doing, and then she also uses I guess you could say a landline or whatever. She uses the optimum cable. So the cable is basically being ran through the modem, and if you turn off the electricity, then her landline is off. Then she'll be mad because she's not getting no phone calls through her landline. So but yeah, I was actually just really happy that earlier today I was able to slowly kind of teach her about copper grounding. So I gave her 2 sheets of copper. Yeah, 2 sheets of copper, and I bought her like a very low leveled aluminum pan. Just put the copper sheets on top of the aluminum pan, and then you can create your own copper grounding, and that draws out the excess electricity flowing through your central nervous system. Because remember, that sensation of pins and needles that you get all throughout your body, that's basically your body being overexcited by electrical stimulation, and then if you're getting like this weird pressure at the crown of your head, like right now I could feel the heat spot. It's like right here. That is like a sensation of like magnetic stimulation, and it's basically causing slow damage to the brain cells and the brain itself, yeah, or the brain tissue itself too. So I was doing some research a while ago, and I know that in cases where doctors try to treat patients who have depression issues, they use a method called transcranial magnetic stimulation. So if they can use that to basically basically what it does is sends magnetic pulses. It's a device that sends magnetic pulses, through the top of the brain. So if you can use that to cure a person of depression, then imagine what you can do if you actually use the reverse of that. Instead of curing depression, you could rather induce it or actually cause tissue damage or harm to the brain. And when you're trying to understand how they're doing all this stuff remotely, you got to remember that right now I don't necessarily have the knowledge of how one hacks the electricity of an environment, but I'm pretty certain that's what they basically do. If they can gain access to the electrical grid or the electrical circuitry of a building, of of well, I mean, there's also that part about, having about, the chemtrails and the nanoparticles and the amounts of aluminum or metals that are, being sprayed in the air, and then we ingest it, and it goes into our it gets into our lungs, and then it starts flowing through our bloodstream. All these different ways and means for it to actually travel throughout the body. Then if someone's using, fMRI along with an EEG, they can basically, and I think it has something to do with also like an infrared laser or something like that. Haven't really quite figured it out, but I'm pretty sure if I could get other TIs to continue to post videos and do the same research that I'm doing, and we continue to like try to write different scientists who actually do these, who conduct these studies and everything. Maybe we can get the same attention that these U.S. delegates are getting. These CIA delegates are getting. I don't know. Maybe we can get. So yeah. Right now, there's a bill being passed in the Senate about, I guess, payments to the CIA officials who suffered from who suffered from the neurological damage or neurological attacks that happened to them, for which they call it Havana syndrome. But I'm just like, they got some nerve to ignore something that's been going on for decades, and then they only want to do something about it when it's supposedly happening to, when it's supposedly happening to, government employees. Forget about the regular citizens. They only want to do something because it's happening to government employees, and it's messed up though. It's messed up because people have been talking about this stuff for decades. Like, I'm not even into my first year yet. Like matter of fact, maybe it's definitely been over a year. I just didn't know about it or became aware of it until September or October of 2020. Because like I told y'all, there was a street theater incident back in March of 2020, and normally I don't get involved with certain things unless it really calls for me to get involved. But yeah, so it's just one of them situations where someone who's probably narcissistic, needs psychological help or something, they decided that, well, they want to have power over people, and they want to basically show that they can bully someone. And I was just like, nah, you got the wrong one. Well, you found the right one, but you got the wrong one if you thought I was going to just go along with all the stuff that you're doing. Because remember, they're doing all this covertly, and what they're trying to do now is basically destroy me, because I don't go along like I don't go along. I've never been a follower, and if I do decide to follow someone, it's because I chose to, find some type of benefit or whatever in that situation for me to, go ahead and go along with it. But if it doesn't resonate with me in the way that I would like it to, then I'm not going to go along with it. And, yeah, I'm being radiated like hell right now. Whole entire body is vibrating. I mean, like, in my old room, I have a bed here. In my apartment, I'm not even sleeping on my bed, because I already know sleeping on anything with metal springs is just basically conducting the radiation. It's basically like if you sleep on a bed with metal springs, you're basically soaking your body in this electrical radiation. And like here, I don't know. I'ma just keep my faith in God. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, Monday, that TI awareness walk that was here in New York City. We started off at Central Park West and West 96. It was only about, it was a small group of us, but you know what? That 6-7 people, it's gonna grow, because many other people, after we posted pictures and made contact with people, with other TIs who were out in like Ohio and Texas, they wish they could have came out, and we actually had people from, whether it was Long Island, the 5 boroughs, somebody came out from Pennsylvania. We're gonna grow. And once we grow in number and we actually get this a bit more organized, we're going to make some noise. New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, I know you're a co-sponsor of that bill that's basically working to provide the financial compensation for those CIA delegates that were basically hit with those direct energy weapons and suffered from brain injuries. But I'm gonna just tell you right now, y'all not looking at the really big picture. I don't know if y'all know, or maybe you're just being had, but there's a much, much larger thing happening, and it's not just in New York. It's not just in, the United States. This is all over the world. And there are all these different entities who are basically hacking and non-consensually gaining access to people's central nervous system and attacking them with direct energy weapons. So I'm just letting you know that I and other, targeted individuals, we're not going to go piggybacking off the whole Havana syndrome, because we've been dealing with this for much longer than the term. I've only been dealing with it for, I'd say maybe a little over a year or so. But, for other people who's been dealing with it for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years, there's a lot more to be done than to only listen to the voices of CIA delegates. All right. So I'm gonna try to go back to sleep, and yeah, hopefully, God willing, some things get worked out. As always, take life one breath at a time, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Good night.